Our changing lifestyles over the past few decades has dramatically altered the types of materials we put into blue bins. And as communities struggle to adapt to the high costs associated with recycling, more plastics and fewer newspapers, blue box recycling faces the possibility of becoming unsustainable. For more on that, let's bring in Maria Kelleher. She's a principal at Kelleher Environmental, a consulting firm that specializes in this kind of research. She's in Toronto. Thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Maria, let's talk about our habits and how it's affect recycling, because one of the things we mentioned would be newspapers, and we don't read as many physical newspapers as we used to.
That's right, because of the internet. In fact, the internet has changed a lot of things in our life. The first thing is we don't read as many newspapers, we read more news online. And the other thing is that we order a lot of products through the internet, and they get delivered in cardboard boxes and plastic bags. And we have a lot more of that material in the blue bin as well.
And what's the difference between trying to recycle newspapers versus cardboard boxes versus those plastic bags?
Well, they all go to different markets. So newspapers go to newsprint mills, and they want the material they get as clean as possible. Cardboard boxes go back to cardboard mills, and they have different requirements. And plastic goes back into the plastic industry for a number of different reasons. And plastics recycling is probably the most complicated, because you have to split out the plastics into the different resins, and each resin has a different end use.
Wow. Okay, so tell me about contamination as well, because some of us know what we should be putting in the blue bin, but at the same time, we're not necessarily doing the best job of making sure that the cleanest recycling material is going in.
Oh, well, we definitely should make it clean. So if you've got a peanut butter jar, as an example, that should be rinsed before it goes into the blue bin. It is complicated to figure out what should be in the blue bin in some cases, particularly multi-layer packaging, we call it, which would be plastic and metal and paper all mixed together. And there are a few plastics that are just not recyclable right now. What's made it all a bit more complicated at the moment is that China, which used to be a market for a lot of our recyclables, has become way more strict about contamination levels. So that's really pushed the obligation back on us to send them very, very clean materials if we want to sell into the Chinese market.
So is it still a good idea to be using the blue bin if we're not necessarily using it the right way, or if what we're throwing into the bin isn't really working to be recycled?
Well, a few years ago, we used to say, put everything in the blue bin and we'll figure it out for you. But now we've changed it a bit to say, if you're not sure whether it should be in the blue bin, do your best to read the instructions from the city. But if you're not sure, it might be best to just put it in the garbage for now.
So do you see recycling changing sort of in the next 5 or 10 years? And if so, in what way, and how would the public be affected?
It'll definitely change, because new products are being put into the market all the time. So we have to adapt quite quickly in the recycling business to the new packaging products that are being put on the market. So absolutely, there will be lots of changes every year over the next 5 or 10 years.
Okay, we do have to leave it there. We have Maria Kelleher joining us today from Toronto. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.